Welcome back to Great Mechanical Pencils, where we dive deep into vintage and sometimes modern mechanical pencils, uncovering their designs, histories, and what makes them tick, or in this case, twist. If you're new here, we explore mostly rare collectible pencils and occasionally everyday writers, with breakdowns and demos, but from a collector's point of view. Today we're tracing the fascinating history of Pentel's Twist-Erase line, a game-changer in mechanical pencils that combined a reliable lead advancement with a clever eraser mechanism. And this isn't just about erasing mistakes, it's about innovation that spanned decades, with models evolving from Japan-exclusive gems to global staples. Stick around until the end, and we'll be looking at the entire Twist-Erase family and some very close family relatives. And at the end of the video, we'll also look at other pencils that have adopted this technology. This video would not have been possible without Nimrod's blog, and almost all the images came from the incredible collection of a fellow collector, Hunter71, Pete, who I met on the Knockology forum. He has extensive knowledge of these models and has also provided me with most of the information I present in this video. So a big shout out and a huge thanks to Jimmy and Pete. You guys really made this happen. And this topic was also a suggestion of one of my subscribers, so thank you for the great idea. I had a lot of fun putting this together. I wanted to be sure you knew about Nimrod's Pentel identification book. It's available for free as a download on Nimrod's blog, and I'll leave a link for it in the description. But real quick, here's an overview of what we will be covering today. Well, starting out, we're looking at the QE305 Gomdale, a Japan-exclusive model from the late 1980s. Then, the QE400 Series, the very first Twist-Erase branded pencil. We will look at the QE400F, the Frost series from the mid-2000s. Sadly, we won't cover the QE420, but a shout out to all my friends in India. Next, the QE505 Twist-Erase II, also sold as the Gomdale 500 in Japan. And we will wrap up with the QE510 series, the Twist-Erase III, and the Japan-exclusive version, the Tough. So if you collect Pentel pencils, do yourself a favor and download Nimrod's Pentel identification book. You'll be glad you did. And again, I will put a link in the description. At the heart of all these pencils is Pentel's patented Twist-Erase technology, detailed in U.S. Patent 4,904,101 from 1990. This invention describes an eraser dispenser integrated into the pencil's barrel, where rotating the rear section extends or retracts a long eraser. It's designed for durability, allowing longer erasers to reduce replacements, and it protects erasers when not in use. The mechanism converts rotational movement into axial sliding, making it smooth and reliable. Think of it like a screwdriver for your eraser. We'll see it later in action when I disassemble each model. I wanted to mention that Pentel did not invent the Twist-Erase pencil, but this was Pentel's very first model to feature the Twist-Erase mechanism. The first Twist-Erase pencil was the Tombow Kishiman in 1984, and I'll have a video on that coming up soon. Here's a look at some of the pencils we will be covering coming up. First, we have the Twist-Erase III. I like this pencil, but I have to admit I'm not a fan of the rubber grip. We're going to compare this to the Tough, which is the Japan-exclusive version of the Twist-Erase III. And we will see how on this and some other pencils, the branding was changed depending on if it was sold in Japan exclusively or worldwide, giving you collectors more holes to fill in your collection. Then we'll look at the QE305 Gomdale, which was a Japan exclusive. It was a precursor to the very first branded Twist-Erase pencil. And here is the original Twist-Erase. Notice no rubber grip, and it has a white eraser. Here's the Twist-Erase II, which was sold in Japan as the Gomdale 500. We'll be taking a deep dive into all these pencils and a few more coming up. We're going to start with the QE305 Gomdale. The QE305 was released in 1988 and sold until the early 2000s, and it was sold exclusively in Japan. It came in 5 base colors: black, red, blue, green, and yellow, and it came with color-coordinated erasers that matched the body color. It originally sold for 300 yen, and it was only available in 5mm lid size, perfect for precise writing. The name Gomdale was a contraction created by Pentel for this model. Gomu is the Japanese word for eraser, and dale is a reference to the screw-out mechanism used to advance the eraser. In 1989, it won the Good Design Award for its innovative eraser system and its color-coordinated erasers matching the body. There were a ton of variants released for this pencil. Some are harder to find than others, and most of them were released only in Japan. These are viewed as likely variants of the QE305 Gomdale for a few reasons. They were all generally only available in Japan, and they almost all have a date code printed on the eraser barrel, and the erasers were never white. They were black or sometimes other colors. Coming up next, we're going to have a look at the 2-digit date code stamped on the side of some of the Gomdale pencils. The first digit is the last digit of the year, and the second digit is a letter, A through L, for January through December. My red one says 4A. That's January 1994, or possibly 2004, but I don't think they were still making them that late. The black one is 5J, which is October 1995, and the yellow one reads 8A, which is most likely January 1998, although it could be January 1988. And this is the problem with 2-digit date codes. And this is especially true when a pencil runs over several decades, and then you have to start looking for minute manufacturing changes to date your pencils. If you noticed, my green and blue pencils do not have a date code. And also, if you're wondering what the 300 with the box around it is, well, that's the price. When you see this on a Japanese pencil, that's the cost. So that's how we know this pencil sold for 300 yen. The Gomdale came with color-coordinated erasers, which was in stark contrast to the white-only erasers that came in the standard QE400 models and the black erasers that came in the standard QE505 models, each coming later in the timeline. Here's how you replace the eraser. You just snap it off and on again, but I wouldn't recommend that you do this a lot. This is a Knockology type pencil, and it comes with a 2mm fixed lid sleeve. And it does come with a brass clutch. You pull the rear section off to refill the lid. These are still available for sale, but if you're not in Japan, you'll find the prices much more affordable through a proxy service. But once you find one, just be sure the eraser matches the pencil. The pocket clip is attached to the barrel, but it is not the strongest, and I can see it easily getting bent or broken. But I do like the feel of the pencil in my hand. It feels sturdy, even for an economy pencil. While these are going back together, I'm going to speed up this section just to keep the video moving. And while I have a chance, I'd just like to take a minute and thank you for watching. Next up, we're looking at the QE400. But first, here's a quick look at some of the packaging options for the Gomdale. Moving on to the next evolution, the QE400 series, known simply as the Twist-Erase, spanning from around 1987 to the early 2000s, and was sold worldwide. These built directly on the QE305's platform, same dimensions, same mechanism, but these were sold outside of Japan. And unlike its Japanese counterpart, the international versions have white erasers. Starting with the QE405 in 0.5 mm, the colors included red, black, blue, teal, gray, and plum. For 0.7 mm, the QE407 came in blue, brown, and violet. And finally, the QE409 came in 0.9 mm in red and yellow. There are no color overlaps across sizes, so a teal is always 0.5 mm, but they all did have white erasers. And here's a good look at the color differences. You can see the QE405 red is true red, while the QE409 is more orange. And here's a close-up of the Twist-Erase and comparing it to the Gomdale. As you can see, it's the identical pencil. And I realized while I was editing this that I forgot to take it apart, but it's exactly the same as the Gomdale. The only difference is the white erasers and the different colors. These were made in Japan and distributed worldwide. The QE405 and QE407 were staples, but the QE409 was US only in some listings. And I wanted to add, the navy blue QE407 is very rare, so if you ever find one, grab it. Coming up next, we're looking at the date codes. These also had the Pentel 2-digit date code, but instead of printed, these are stamped onto the barrel. Sometimes they're pretty hard to read. Here you can see 9A is January of 1989 or January of 1999. My blue is 6G or July of 1996. And here's another July of 1996. Coming up, we're going to dig into the other Twist-Erase models, but first, here are some of the packaging options for the original Pentel Twist-Erase. Next up, we have the QE405F and the QE407F, the Twist-Erase Frost. These are a little bit more difficult to explain. They were released after the QE305, 405, and 505 models had been retired. They were manufactured and sold in the United States and only available in the mid-2000s. The Frost was a re-release, but it was fundamentally the same pencil as the QE305 and QE405. It came only with a white eraser, similar to the QE405 7 and 9. These pencils all had translucent barrels and a goldish-colored trim ring where the eraser barrel connects to the pencil's lower half. The QE405F was 0.5 mm and came in green, orange, pink, sky blue, and transparent, while the QE407F was 0.7 mm and came in red, blue, transparent, and violet. The third variety of the Pentel Twist-Erase pencil is the QE505, which was branded as the Gomdale 500 in Japan, and known worldwide as the Twist-Erase II. This one didn't come with too many options. It was just a black pencil with blue, red, or yellow accents. The erasers were black, and the pencil was only manufactured in 0.5 mm. Although this is the third generation of the Twist-Erase pencil, this is actually only the second different design since the QE305 and QE405 were built on the same platform. The Gomdale 500 was only released in Japan, and this is the second time the word Gomdale was used by Pentel. It was a 1989 G-Mark Good Design winner, known for its reliable precision-crafted build, featuring a sturdy barrel, smooth lead advance, and ergonomic grip. This has made this pencil a staple for artists, students, and professionals for decades. The Gomdale 500 QE505 was also awarded the Long Life Design Award in 2001. This award recognizes timeless classics, products on the market for at least 10 years, and those that remain beloved standards, serving as models for future designs. Here's some of the known variants based on the Twist-Erase II, and notice the color of the erasers, they're not all black. Here is the original Twist-Erase, and the Japanese-only Gomdale. And here it is with the Twist-Erase II. And as you can see, the QE505 is a significant redesign. These come with a black eraser and now a black rubber grip. And here's a good look at the Japanese exclusive version, the Gomdale 500. Essentially, it's the same pencil. You take these apart and refill them just like the other pencils. One thing to note, the lid retainer ring on mine has come loose. And if the lid falls out of your pencil, you may have lost your lid retainer ring. I have luck transplanting these from P200s into other Pentel pencils. And I noticed while filming this that the Gomdale 500 also had a loose lid retainer ring. So I don't know if this is indicative with this entire series, but I would be careful with your pencils when you open them. Definitely you want to do it over a desk. Coming up at the end of the video is the Twist-Erase II. But first, we're going to look at the date codes on the Twist-Erase II and the Gomdale 500. The QE505 has the two-digit date code stamped into the barrel in line with the text, but at the beginning of the line. Here you can see my example is 5G, or July of 1995. Gomdale 500 also has a date code in line with the text, but these are printed and at the end of the line. In my example, 2G is July of 1992 or July of 2002. And to wrap up, here's a look at one of the packaging options for the Twist-Erase II. Up next is the Twist-Erase Click. This has been selling worldwide since 2009 and is sold as the Gomdale Click in Japan. And this version is worth noting because it is the first time Pentel combined the Twist-Erase model with the quicker clicker. This came in 5, 7, and 9mm, and 5mm was available in black, blue, orange, pink, and violet. The 7mm, black, blue, and pink, and the 9mm was available in black, orange, and violet. The Gomdale is also available in black, blue, orange, and pink. And there is a two-digit date code. The two digits are at the end of the text at the side of the pencil. And to wrap up this pencil, here's a Disney variant from the 2010s. This was made and sold in Japan and only came in 0.5mm. This generation is also the last Disney version that was made from a Pentel Twist-Erase model. And last up, in the Twist-Erase family, we have the Twist-Erase III. It came in 0.5, 0.7, and 0.9mm. The QE515 came in 0.5mm and was available in black, blue, green, or violet. Now the QE517 was 0.7mm and was available in black, burgundy, red, or blue. And lastly, the QE519 was available in 0.9mm and came in black, red, dark blue, or purple. These are manufactured in Japan and distributed worldwide except for Japan. In Japan, these are sold as the QE5, 7, and 9, or the Tough, and we'll get to that in just a second. The biggest difference between the Twist-Erase 2 and 3 is that the rubber grip is now longer. Here's a good shot that compares the Twist-Erase 1, 2, and 3. As you can see, there have been several changes over the years. In Japan, this is labeled as the Tough and is sold as the QE5, the QE7, and the QE9 in 0.9mm. You take it apart and load the lid just as its predecessors. And both the Twist-Erase 3 and the Tough come with a nice strong metal pocket clip. The grip on the Tough Twist-Erase II and III is removable. And this pencil continues to have a brass clutch. Well, wrapping up the Twist-Erase and Gomdale family, this really shows Pentel's innovation from Japan-only starts to global icons, and all tied back to that 1990 patent. If one of these pencils is your favorite, drop it in the comments. And if you're enjoying these videos, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. I recognize this video is longer than most of mine, and if you're still watching, I really do appreciate it, and that really does help the channel as well. Coming up next, we're going to look at other pencils that feature a twist-erase type eraser. I'm going to close out the video with just a quick run through of some other pencils that have a twist-erase style pencil. These happen to be made by Pentel. Here's the budget-friendly Twist-Erase GT. And here, the Twist-Erase Click in orange, one of my favorite colors. This is a fun pencil, combining the features of a quicker clicker and a twist erase. And here it is again in black. Pentel has made so many cool quicker clicker style pencils, and I do plan to make a very long video one day pretty soon on that. And we're going to close out the video with a quick look at some other pencils with the twist erase feature. Here's some by Kokukyo. Here's a Pentel that I forgot to show earlier. This is a Quick Dock, which also has a twist erase built in. This is the cassette pencil. It's pretty cool. I've got quite a few cassettes, and I'll probably do a video on those sooner or later. And here is the Tombow Monograph with its teeny tiny eraser. And the Monograph Zero. Both of these have pretty small erasers, but they do come in handy to get into the small detail areas. Here's a monograph, which is also a shaker, and it has a twist erase type function. Next up, here's a Faber-Castell Polymatic. And here's another Faber, a TK5 Vario. And to close things out, another Faber-Castell. This one is the Apollo. And these are just a few that I had in my collection of the dozens, if not hundreds, of twist erase style erasers that are out there now. A subscriber of mine suggested the Skilcraft Dual Action is an alternative pencil if you're not a fan of the rubber grip. And it turns out one of my favorite YouTube reviewers did a video on this very pencil. His site is moving about and manipulating objects, and you should really check it out. He does a fantastic job reviewing pencils, especially classic wooden case pencils, notepads, and other stationery items. You should really check it out. I'll leave a link in the description. The Pentel Twist Erase has left an indelible mark on writing tools since its debut in the 1980s. Evolving through several iterations, along with Japan-exclusive Gomdale variants, it has continually adapted over the years. This enduring icon proves that thoughtful design can stand the test of time, inspiring generations of students, artists, and professionals to create without interruption. Thank you again for watching, and a special thanks to Jimmy Simpson at Nimrod's blog for his detailed guide to Pentel pencils. And I'm also grateful to the Knockology Mechanical Pencil Forum members for their valuable contributions to this video. Additionally, a big shout out to the mechanical pencil communities on Reddit and Facebook for their support. And until the next video, good luck with your collection.